There's a lot at stake for Texas Tech as they head up to Morgantown in the regular season finale to face off against Rich Rodriguez and the West Virginia Mountaineers. In today's video, we'll discuss the three keys to the game for Texas Tech to leave Morgantown with a W, head back to the Lone Star State in preparation for a Big 12 title appearance, what the Red Raiders have to do defensively to secure this victory, as well as on the offensive end. It's going to be a ground and pound situation. Let's get to it. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxfield here for the Red and Black Report. Appreciate y'all tuning in to today's Keys to the Game video, as well as, well, I need to say happy Thanksgiving. Hope you and your family had a great, happy Thanksgiving and enjoyed, well, every side dish that's great. Because if we're being honest about it, the turkey's cool. The ham is cool if you're into that as well on Thanksgiving. But this is a side dish holiday, that green bean casserole, the macaroni and cheese, whatever it is at your house. That's a sneak peek into the Maxfield household, what we like. But it's a side dish holiday. We loved it. I hope y'all loved your happy Thanksgiving as well from everyone here at the Red and Black Report. All right, got three keys to the game for you. And one of them is me kind of correcting myself a little bit on the first one, because in the preview video, I said that Hubbard, the running back for West Virginia, was going to play. That's not the case. He's out for this game. That's on me. Hand up for accountability. Sometimes we're wrong, and we don't get information until after the fact, and sometimes you just miss things. It happens. So hand up for accountability. That's on me on that front. That being said, it kind of leads into my first key to the game, and that is a quick start from Texas Tech. And the reason being is this: the West Virginia Mountaineers have no chance to make a bowl game this year. Okay. They are 4-7. They are just playing for pride and really experience at this point. If you are Texas Tech, you have to come out there and assert dominance in the cold and just make their will to live go extinct out there in Morgantown, right? And I think you're good enough to do it. They're losing key players left and right, unfortunately for them this year, are the Mountaineers. But if you are Texas Tech, you have to go up there and show why you are currently the number 5 team in the college football playoff rankings and why you deserve to get a bye. And the quickest way to do that is to assert your dominance, take the will to live on the gridiron away from the West Virginia Mountaineers, and just pedal to the metal, ground and pound. We'll go a little bit further on that one here in a minute. But that's really what I'm looking at here is, can you come out and on the first 2 drives, go up 2 possessions, because you're going to have a guy that likes to throw the football in Baron Morton. Can you go out there and have those explosive plays, right? Or are you going to be fixated on the ground and pound if you're Mac Leftwich? And we'll talk about where I'm going. I think y'all know. That being said, can you create an explosive play or two and really take that will to live on the gridiron away from West Virginia? I think that's what I'm looking forward to most in terms of how Texas Tech responds after the bye, getting their bodies right. And if you can do that, if you are Texas Tech, I think you easily go on to win this football game. And again, my score prediction for this game was 51-17. I think that is in the realm of possibilities, and it may even get worse than that. All right. Speaking of ground and pound, I think that's where Texas Tech goes in this one. And the reason being is this: I think this is going to be a game that's obviously colder. That's not me thinking that. That's just going to be a fact. It's called meteorology, and they can predict the weather, can those meteorologists, and they're pretty solid at it most of the time, depending on where you live. This one, I'm going to take it, pretty strongly. They know what the hell they're talking about. It's supposed to be cold. And I talked about it in the game preview video, how Joey McGuire during spring ball, I should say, had a day where it was snowing out in the 806, and he said, this is going to prepare you for that last weekend of the year. He was 100% right, was Joey McGuire, as it is going to be closer to freezing than 50 degrees out in Morgantown. Can the Red Raiders come out and that offensive line enforce their will against a West Virginia team that is decent at stopping the run? Not great, but can you enforce your will and really just take the life out of them in terms of trying to get downhill in the cold and just open up those rush lanes for both Cam Dickey and Jacoby Williams? And who knows, maybe you're even playing Adam Hill in some of these situations. But that's what I'm watching for most in terms of the offensive side of the football. I think you're going to try and push the ball downfield, but it's all going to be predicated on the play action pass that is set up from what? The ground and pound for Texas Tech. I expect this to be a heavy reliance and heavy dosage of Cam Dickey and Jacoby Williams in this game. I would not be surprised if they combine for north of 40 touches, okay, in this football game. And I say touches, carries. Okay, I would not be surprised if that is the case between those two bell cows. And yes, I'm going to say they're both bell cows because I think they are a 1A, 1B type situation in the Red Raider backfield. I expect them to be used heavily. And then that opens up that vertical passing attack for Texas Tech once you see West Virginia and those pair of safeties that are pretty damn good, honestly, creep up 10 yards within the box. That's when you take that one-on-one deep shot to either Caleb Payday Douglas or Reggie Virgil on the outside. All right. You see it on your screen there, force the pass. I think if you can force West Virginia to be a passing team offensively, I just don't see a way where they win the football game. Okay. I just don't see it. And maybe I'm wrong. But let's go ahead and look at some stats here and go to the passing stats specifically for the Big 12. You see it on your screen. The West Virginia Mountaineers are the second worst passing attack in the Big 12 this season on average in terms of yards per game through the air, 193.1. Texas Tech allows teams 194.3. So it's right there, right? The difference is this, okay? And we talked about this in the game preview video as well. Let's go over to the rushing side of this. This is where West Virginia is pretty damn good offensively. Top half of the Big 12, they average 171.8 yards on the ground. The issue, the Red Raiders only allow 71.8. and 2.4 yards per carry. If you are the Texas Tech defense and you can suffocate the run game away from the Mountaineers in this one and force them to pass the football, I think Fox Jr., albeit a really athletic quarterback, and he will extend a play or two throughout this game if rush lane integrity is compromised for the Red Raiders, right? He'll prolong a drive or two because of that. But if you can force him into being a passer, good luck, West Virginia, because it is going to be a long day and there will be multiple turnovers produced by the Texas Tech secondary and shoot, even the front seven, as they're going to get after him and maybe create a fumble or two or an errant throw that ends up in another Jacob Rodriguez interception and who knows, maybe a pick six to add to his already Heisman-like resume. We shall see, but that's what I'm watching for most. If you can take away the run game from the West Virginia Mountaineers, I just don't see a scenario where passing the football wins them a football game against Texas Tech. I just don't see it. And that's not trying to be disrespectful. It's just nobody has done it so far this season, right? You look at the Arizona State game where, yes, Texas Tech did lose, but it was because of really a couple of broken plays that ended up working out for Arizona State. And not to mention, well, you had your backup quarterback, Will Hammond, making his first true road start as a college quarterback. Not an excuse. Arizona State won the football game. Hat off to them, right? And they're a top 20 team in the country. That being said, it's one of those deals where there is a very different complexity to their offensive, respectively, between Arizona State and West Virginia. Full stop, okay? And I have all the respect in the world for Rich Rod as a coach. He is one of the best in really the past 20 years in terms of what he has done. A lot of people like to crap on him. I understand it, but he's a really good coach at the end of the day. He'll get this team where they need to be later on, but it will not be in this one. As I think Texas Tech dominates this game, there is going to be style points to be had for Texas Tech. And like it or not, the committee wants style points. They kind of already have said so without saying it with some of the verbiage that they've used on the college football rankings release shows on ESPN. They've already basically said as much. Okay, so the keys to the game for me in this one, a quick start, as you can see on your screen, the ground game, ground and pound for Texas Tech. Just take the will to live on the gridiron away from West Virginia and send them off to their offseason. Force the pass for the West Virginia Mountaineer offense against this Texas Tech defense. That is not going to be a great combo because of the elite pass rushers Texas Tech has. And it's not just David Bailey and Romello Height. You got Lee Hunter. You got A.J. Holmes Jr., a plethora of other guys, Cheto O'Feely, right? There's multiple other players that can get after the quarterback, Jaden Cofield, Duda Banks. The list goes on and on, right? So if you can really force them to pass the football, Texas Tech is going to have time to get after the quarterback, and that is a lose-lose situation for the Mountaineer offense. The last one on this, it has to be the turnover battle. And I think that is predicated on what happens before that, right? So what I mean by that doesn't mean that West Virginia won't turn the ball over early. It's more so if you can dictate pace and really establish the run, if you're Texas Tech, that's going to force West Virginia to pass the football. And if you force West Virginia to pass the football, your elite pass rush gets after them. And if you pressure the quarterback, more likely than not, he's going to make a mistake or two, maybe whether that's a fumble, interception, whatever it may be. It really amplifies that and increases the chances of it for the Texas Tech defense. So that's really what I'm watching for. Quick start for the Red Raiders, the ground game, make Fox Jr. a passer, and win the turnover battle. I guess that was technically 4 keys to the game, even though I said 3. And oh, by the way, I think Texas Tech does pretty well in the red zone in this game as well. As West Virginia's middle of the pack when it comes to red zone defense, unlike UCF, that was near the bottom. I think they were the second worst in the Power 4. Were the Knights, West Virginia's closer to the middle of the pack, 70th in the country, but I think Texas Tech got right against the Knights when it came to the red zone offense. And I think that this bye week really helped Texas Tech get healthy, and they're going to come out and earn some style points in the committee's eyes with what I think will be a dominant victory against the West Virginia Mountaineers on Saturday afternoon in Morgantown, West Virginia. All right, that's going to do it for today's video. Once again, hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving, enjoyed all of those sides and the turkey and the ham too. We're more of a side household here in the Maxfield side of things, but it's okay. I understand if you like the birds. Well, I guess Red Bull does give you wings. Hashtag not a sponsor. I was thinking of a pig with wings, but that's just not a thing. I'm going to go ahead and end this video now. If you haven't already, be sure to like the video and hit that subscribe button to tune in to 100% free Texas Tech football and men's basketball content all year long right here on the largest group of Texas Tech fans on YouTube and the Red and Black Report. Pigs don't have wings, just for the record. I do know that, and I'm going to head out of here before I embarrass myself with anything else. I'm RC Maxfield reminding you, as always, stay safe and Wreck 'em Tech.